I am delighted to welcome Fernando Desouches to join me today on Talk with Sally. This has been an interview I'm particularly looking forward to because I think the subject we're going to discuss, which is leadership of creativity and change and how to bring about true transformation, is in itself a fascinating subject, but especially in this current climate. So Fernando, welcome. Thank you so much. Could you please just share a bit about your background so the audience can understand where your thoughts are coming from?
Thanks for having me, Sally. My background, I'm currently managing director of New Macho, that is a strategic unit of BBD Perfect Storm, that is a company of culture and brand transformation. I started with this company in 2018 after having worked for 18 years at Unilever. My last assignment was being a global brand director for the Axe and Links brand. By doing so, I realized that the world was changing as you are describing. Particularly, men were changing or trying to change, but it was very difficult for them to do it. And they might be, for the way masculinity is portrayed today and the expectations behind masculinity are today, are stopping the transformation and change of the world around.
And you are a change maker in the industry. But do you find that rather a comfortable position to be in?
Honestly, it's not at all. What we are doing with New Macho at BBD Perfect Storm is something new. There is not another agency focusing on something like that we know. So coming from a client perspective, as I come from, and getting to an industry that is already well developed, you have very clearly client services people, strategy people, design, creativity. So honestly, I don't know exactly where I fit. I think I'm a very bad client services director, and very bad strategies, and very bad creativity, and very bad words in design.
We're very self-aware.
But this is not my role. So I say, okay, what is my role? And this is where I need to step back and say, okay, I have a common shared vision with the team. We have a vision. And my role is to keep that vision alive, to incentivize people behind it, to keep it as clean as possible in the current noise and keep the directions. And that is inside and outside the agency. So keep the team involved, but also outside.
How do you do that?
First, you need to really believe in what you are doing. This is what I believe. And then is create the spaces to land the messages. We are talking about the evolution to masculinity, and we have many men in the agency. So men feel confused and attracted by the message and want to be there, and women feel liberated also by the message. So they want to be more of that. So there is something that I think touches fiber that aligns the personal incentive with the professional ones, and that gives the direction and the energy.
Yeah, it's so important to have that connectivity, isn't it, between the reality of what the business is doing, but the person's motivation to embrace all the complexity that goes with that. If we look at it from a business's perspective, how would you advise where a business should start from if they're looking to make a creative pivot?
It's a great question. And I'm not sure many people really realized the importance of where you start. And the way you start for me is understanding well the problem you have and owning it. Is the problem we have. And when you start talking about those problems, then the next step is understanding the behaviors that we are doing that create that problem. Behind those behaviors, there are beliefs that are sustaining those behaviors. And this is a journey. So from owning the problem, to understand the behaviors, to understand the beliefs, and then challenge those beliefs is the difficult part. If you don't own the problem, it will be very difficult to change your beliefs.
And is there a difference, say, if a company is wanting to pivot in its creative vision and what it's wanting to land out there with the market versus a strategic leap?
If I understand the question correctly, there is something that is, okay, it's adjustment following what I expect to the consumer to be, or maybe in many times it's adjusting to where the consumer was. Because if we are looking what the consumers are today and the people we serve are today, it's very likely that when we get there, it was the past.
Absolutely.
When we talk about transformation, a change that you can sustain over time, we are thinking in the future. At the moment we challenge those beliefs, there will be new beliefs and insights coming. And those are the insights we need to start building the new experiences and new behaviors and new business models to serve the future. That is the difference for me in a transformational challenge to the people. The people will not change the belief. We will do the same what we're doing, thinking that doing that we can address the ever-changing demands from the people we serve. A transformational challenge is be advanced of where those new insights are coming from, so I can meet them where they're going. And in many times I lead them where they're going to, because many times they cannot get there and they need help.
Absolutely. Change is a passion of mine as well. I approach it through the leadership development angle. And one thing I'm always really motivated to help my clients achieve is to overcome the barriers. Because let's face it, Fernando, if it was easy, everyone would do it and it wouldn't be special. What's your particular advice to companies or to leaders to overcome barriers? There could be this huge roadblock ahead of them. What helps them get around it, get over it, get through it?
In my experience, in general, barriers come more from the inside than the outside. And in general, consumers are ready. People is ready to receive what we share if we do the work correctly. The barriers come more from our internal thinking. So my advice would be, first, take your stakeholders with you from the very beginning. Start with a stakeholder interview. Listen, where are they going? Because at the end, what you need to do, align those business and personal incentives of your stakeholders towards the place you are going to. And it's difficult because when you start a transformational change, you don't know exactly where you're going to. You have an idea of the vision, but it's very likely that that idea materializes in a different way. This is why you need to start owning the problem and understand very well the diagnosis. But I think it's taking your key stakeholder with you through the journey.
And is there any specific nuggets you could offer from your experience of how? Because a lot of clients I work with, big blue chips, for example, Nestle, NatWest, they have many, many stakeholders. And therefore, there could be different agendas, politics, every big organization has politics. Is there something you can give as a practical advice on how to get that alignment across that multiple stakeholder universe?
Yeah, I have two things that I think naturally do. That is, try to align, again, personal and business. So see the person as a whole, as an holistic. And this is very much linked with the second point, that is, there is a lack of meaning in people, in leaders. Many times we end up feeling that we are sellers. We sell things. But what do we do with our life? So this is the chance to do something that they can tell to their kids and grandkids. Visualize that. And this is different if I talk to a woman and a man. This seems to be stupid, but it's not. If I talk to a woman many times, they balance very well the emotional space and the functional space. For men, it's more about visualizing the emotional space.
That surprises me.
Yeah, they get more emotional. And when you get the attention emotionally, then you can say, okay, and what is there for you? Because then when you get then attention for an emotion, then it's, okay, what is the immediate benefit you will have by doing this? And then how we do it. I
get the sense you're very good at that. Because I feel your passion coming through. It's so authentic. You've got to believe in it.
Yeah.
And if you're ask people to change behaviors, change security, like take a risk, they've got to trust you that what you're telling them is right, hey? Whilst the world is still going through flux, how do you believe, Fernando, a leader can get the best creativity out of their people, be it brand side, be it agency side, whilst there's so much stress and tension and worry in the world?
I think it's two things. One is starting working with yourself. If you are not in good shape, because we are part of the world and we are in the same place and we have the same pressure as leaders. I have therapies, men's group, alternative therapies, talk to a lot of people. So really things that help me to be connected with who I am, how I feel, how I believe. And from there, I connect with the world around. And I see the world around and the people I work with as holistic. I have done a background in coaching. And this is why when in general, I tend to either coach or mentor my team and also think them more holistically, because maybe they are saying that they are overstressed with something in particular, but it's not there where the problem is. You need to go out more. And they work a lot with the UK and the US. Those are cultures that are very do cultures. Do. And there's a moment, of course, that doing is unproductive. So many times the exhaustion comes from excessive doing, where you need maybe to focus more on the being or in your social life. And maybe by pointing that out is a way I can help them to get the energy. For a specific work that we are thinking is more about just in this complex space to clear the noise. So if we are talking about a transformational change, it's very likely that there will be a lot of pressure to move in different directions. So as a leader, what we do is to hold tight the wheel, go back to vision, think what we want to do in a simple way we can understand, and try to judge communication, judge advancement from there, and hold the space while the noise is there until it clears.
Again, coming back to the practicalities, how do you hold that space? What techniques or strategies or tools do you find really successful so people get that sense of psychological safety, get the sense of not overwhelmed and avoid the burnout?
For some of them, I literally put coaching time. So I offer openly coaching. I say how much I used to charge as a coach, so they enroll because they don't need to have those safe spaces for them to download.
Mm-hmm.
And also keep on the vision alive. In the moments of confusion, what is the end goal? What are we looking for? How is that feel when we get there? And this is very good, not just to leader down, but also leader up. What are we looking for with this? What is the difference we are making?
Absolutely. And how are you personally keeping that focus? Because you said, yes, you have the therapy, you have lots of different ways. But is there sort of one thing that you're thinking right now in the noise, in the demands, that is just really helping you keep that clarity of focus?
Working in masculinity, what I'm trying to develop in me is the mature man in myself. And when I operate from there, I can choose between sometimes get engaged with more traditional masculine traits, like assertiveness, aggressiveness, and sometimes with more progressive traits, careful or caring. The more I operating from there, the more I can adjust to the moment. It's very difficult and I'm working on that. But in those moments, what I try to do is try to call the man in me, to own me and operate from what do I need to do now?
And what advice would you have for other leaders who are being inspired by what you're saying and are thinking, gosh, I would like to work on myself more. I want to develop as a leader, be I a female or a male leader. But they're thinking, how do I take that first step? Is there, again, a couple of nuggets that you would share that will make it easier for very senior leaders to prioritize their own needs and their own development?
So we go back to the beginning. Let's own the problem. And we can be better leaders if we are better people, more integrated people. So I think it's a good investment to invest time in ourselves. But there is not a formula. It should be something that you believe in and you trust and you feel safe. So this is what I engage with several things that help me to be connected. And when I drain of energy, I ask for help. And I have a variopinta of people to go for help outside of the business and some inside, but mostly outside, where I gather energy and distance.
I always say we're tribal beings. We're not individuals. We come from a collective. And it's so important you get the right collective around you, because it can be equally harmful to have the wrong as equally powerful to have the right. Yeah. I've found from my experience. And just to end on the focus on creativity, obviously the Cannes is happening this month, and there's pressure on people to feel they're delivering creative excellence. Anything like a parting practical advice you would give to get that excellence over the line in the current conditions that we haven't yet covered in our talk so far?
I think it's about motivation and ambition, you will get the extra mile if you believe in what you are doing. And if we understand what is the meaning of what we are doing, I think you get the extra mile. If you are doing something that you don't believe in, it's going to be difficult. So I don't think, honestly, there is a formula. And of course, when you recruit, so the type of people you recruit will be important.
Any advice on getting the right talent? Because all we're hearing is how hard it is to get talent. I personally have beliefs that you can do a lot to change that. I think people are stuck in a few lazy habits, which makes it hard to find talent, despite the current conditions. What are you doing to get that right talent into your business, and most importantly, to keep hold of it?
Getting the talent, I think, is creating aspirationality on our brand. So people that see what New Macho is doing get to the agency because they want to work in New Macho. We create an aspirational space people want to be part of. We are different people at the agency. We have different views, but many times for me, it's not much about the qualities the people have today, but the person they are and how they see the potential for them to develop and grow together. Then to retain is similar. To retain is listen, get them involved, give your power away. That is the answer. When I give my power away by saying what we talk about New Macho is not mine, it's ours, and which is true because it's in development, it's making. We don't know where we're going. And we are building that together. Fun enough, not only I get people engaged, but also I get more power.
Because you don't need it. People who need power attract the wrong people to them. People who are comfortable in who they are and just trust in what they're doing and who they're doing it with. Power is not something they actively seek. They just have it. Fernando, I could talk to you all day. It's been inspiring. It's been enlightening. And you've been provocative. So thank you so much for coming on Talk with Sally.
A pleasure. Love to be here. Thank you very much, Sally.